So today I'm going to be meal prepping 2 pounds of ground beef, and I'll be doing 2 different dishes. One being a baked ziti dish, and the other being a cheesy burrito mix that I turn into 6 different burritos. And you'll want to start off by chopping your vegetables, and I'm going to be using 2 bell peppers and 1 onion here. And after it's all chopped up, you're going to add it to a pan on a medium heat and saute the vegetables. Start sauteing the veggies. Add some salt and pepper for seasoning. Let them brown a little bit. Press the ground meat down flat and then season with whatever you desire. I'm going to use salt, pepper, garlic powder, and onion powder. And season generously. Once the meat's been pressed down and seasoned, you can just let it sit there for about 3 minutes on a medium-high heat before you flip over to let it develop that crust and that char on the other side of the ground beef. After about 3 minutes, you can flip it over. A lot of the flavor is going to come from that char on the ground beef. Flip it over, let it cook on this side for about 3 minutes before you start breaking it up. After that side's been cooking for about 3 minutes, you can start breaking it up. Once the ground meat is nearly fully cooked, you can add in your veggies, and I'm using onions and peppers. Then you can mix in the onions and peppers with the ground meat. And I forgot to mention, but for the baked ziti dish, I'll be adding mushrooms because I have these on hand. It's about 226 grams. I'll just add that to the pan I cooked the onions and peppers in. Cook those separately, and then add it to the casserole dish that I'll be cooking the baked ziti in prior to putting it in the oven. Once your water is boiling, you can add in the pasta. Add in 224 grams of your favorite pasta, and I'll be using this bow tie pasta because I have it on hand. Oh, I should need to do this carefully. We'll see. All right, that was not careful. Once the mushrooms have finished cooking, you can add in about half of the ground meat to the bowl. Ground meat and veggies, followed by about 250 grams of cottage cheese, and then a whole jar of pasta sauce, and I'm using this Classico pasta sauce because it's the lowest calorie I could find, but you just choose your favorite. It's tomato basil, and this is 680 grams. And then I have 112 grams of mozzarella here. I'm going to use half of it in the mixture itself, and then I'm going to layer the other half on top of the baked ziti before I put it in the oven. And then add in the cooked pasta to the dish. Mix it around prior to putting it in the casserole dish before you put it in the oven. And then I'm going to add a little bit of Italian seasoning and mix it around. Spray the casserole dish, then add in your baked ziti mix. And lastly, top the dish with the rest of the mozzarella that you didn't use. And then bake in the oven at 375 for about 30 to 35 minutes. To prepare the rest of the burrito mix, I'm going to add 1 packet or 28 grams of taco seasoning, and I'll be using this Taco Bell mild taco seasoning. And then you can use water with the taco seasoning, but I'm going to use enchilada sauce. And about 180 grams of this red enchilada sauce, just for more flavor. I'm gonna give it a mix before adding in my other ingredients. Then I'll add in 56% of this reduced fat Mexican cheese. And then 200 grams of plain non-fat Greek yogurt, just to help with the creaminess of the dish. And that's what it should look like after it's all mixed. And lastly, I'll be adding in a can of black beans and a can of corn. I'll mix this around, let it sit on a low heat for about 5 minutes before I start assembling my burritos. And here's the burrito assembly station. I'm planning on making 6 burritos out of that mix. And I got 3 of these carb counter La Banderita tortillas, and they're 90 calories with 18 grams of fiber per serving. And sometimes all that fiber upsets my stomach, so I don't like eating it. I don't like eating these tortillas all the time. Sometimes I like mixing in your standard tortilla. And I just got this Kroger brand, and these are 210 calories per tortilla. And I'm hoping that mix makes 6 burritos, so I can enjoy 1 now and then have 5 for lunches throughout the week. Try portioning out the burrito mixture evenly throughout the 6 tortillas. And I did 2 large scoops per burrito. And at the end I was left with a little extra mixture, so I just tried to evenly divide it into each burrito. So I roughly portioned them out into 6 servings. Now I'm going to try to wrap them. Wish me luck. I always struggle wrapping these. Here's my burrito wrapping technique. I start by getting the mixture close to me, and then I fold it over and pinch the tortilla back, and I try to get the edges compressed and tightly wrapped so the burrito's secure. For these cheesy beef burritos, I recommend storing them in the fridge or the freezer, depending on when you'll use them. If you're taking it out of the fridge, microwave it for 2 minutes after you take it out of the aluminum foil. From the freezer, you'll have to microwave it for 4 minutes before it's fully cooked. And you can always watch a YouTube video to learn how to wrap burritos before you make your own. And here's another close-up of how I wrap burritos. I just pull it back, bring in the sides, and then finish wrapping the burrito there. There you go, that's 6 burritos meal prep for the week. I'm gonna have 5 for my lunches this week, and then I'm gonna enjoy 1 right now. And here's what it looks like out of the oven after letting it bake for 30 minutes at 375 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, so this is the final meal prep. I made 6 burritos, but I just ate 1. So now I have 5 burritos that I can use throughout the week. And if I can't get to all the burritos, I can freeze a few for later use. And then for the baked ziti, I'm gonna divide this into 6 servings, and I'll put the macros on the screen for each of these meal preps. And if you're wondering what you can do with 2 pounds of ground meat, you can try this. And if you give this meal prep a try, let me know what you think.